Welcome back to Attacking Third. Mallory Swanson's 57th minute game winning goal over Brazil, her fifth of the tournament, lifts the U.S. to gold, their first since 2012. So it's 12 years and 1 day since the U.S. won that gold, and they do it over Brazil. Sandra, I just have to reflect a little bit because you and I covered our first Olympics tournament together. You and I on Attacking Third in Tokyo when the U.S. ended up winning bronze under Vlatko Andonovski. We are 3 years later, and the U.S. is now winning gold. What is the number one change that you see in this U.S. women's national team side?
Absolutely. I think coaching is a huge aspect of it. And I want to widen that lens a little bit to make sure that we include the work that Twyla Kilgore helped bring in ushering in this next era. Emma Hayes got to the United States and sung her praises and was full of compliments for her efforts over the 9 months that it took for the hiring process to get finalized and her arrival on the sideline. But here they are 3 months later, and you have to take it straight from the players themselves and how they have adjusted under this new coaching staff and the things that they have learned and the things that they feel like where they're growing, and that this is actually just the beginning and not the end game for them. That's scary, man. And that's part of what Emma Hayes wants to reinvigorate and bring back a little bit. She's very familiar with the USA DNA. Did not want to go and redefine that, but wanted to remind players and make sure that they put in the work so that they believed that they could get back there. And watching it in real time during this Olympic Games, that is the huge difference from the previous Tokyo Games, last year's World Cup, and this year's Olympics.
Emma Hayes in her post-game comments saying that she was desperate to do well for this country. She loves America, and this country made her. Emma Hayes becomes the fourth coach to win their first major tournament in charge of the U.S. women's national team. Darian, only 10 games under Emma Hayes, but what has she learned from this group?
Oh man, that is a tough question. What has she learned from this group? I think a new level of tenacity. Knowing that you're coming in with so much doubts. It's the US women's national team. The expectation is to win always. Her being able to handle that and also thrive in this environment. Players love her. The community loves her. She's given so much to this team and to this federation just by her presence alone. She's kind of taken the BS out of this superficial layer of US soccer that we're all accustomed to having and stripped it down and said, you know what, the expectation's too much. They're players. Mistakes happen. We want to learn. We want to suffer. This is how we're going to get there. And I think it's not only made her a better coach, it's made this federation and these players absolutely thrive in this environment. And as Sandra said, it's really scary. It's only the beginning. You said 10 games. Mm-hmm. Imagine when there's 40, 50. The players, this federation, how she is as a coach is going to change. I honestly think the way that soccer is looked at in the US, and think about all the little kids that are watching this and feeling motivated by seeing themselves in these players, in this coach. She's making history, and I can't wait to see what's next.
There's so much excitement for what is next and what is to come. One player that we are going to talk about the players that played, but one player for the U.S. that never saw time this tournament that was a big bright light coming into this roster, midfielder Jaedyn Shaw. She was out during the group stage matches with a bit of an injury, but available for all of these knockout rounds. And Darian, we never saw her. What does that mean?
I don't want to speculate. I mean, we know that she had a knock, and something Emma Hayes said as well, is that she didn't want to change the lineup too much. She wanted to have them suffer. She wanted this team to gain chemistry. She wanted to know these players, that to be the standard of how the U.S. digs down and wins matches. This team has set that. I think with Shaw, unfortunately, getting her knock as early as she did, the chances for her to play and prove like, hey, I can keep up. I'm with the chemistry. I get it. I can vibe. I can overcome X, Y, and Z in games, whether I'm playing Germany, Japan, whoever. We didn't get to see it. I think it would maybe it's not putting her in the most successful position to come into a match like this without getting any minutes in the previous matches, and asking her to keep up with the game. It's hard, especially mentally, when you're a player and you've missed out on so much. And then you're going to Olympic final and you're that young and you don't have a ton of international experience. That's a lot of pressure. Maybe Hayes is looking ahead and thinking, I don't want to set her up or put her in a bad position. And she's just going to keep rocking with what she did. And hopefully that's the case and Shaw is okay and is healthy.
Right.
We don't know.
And not having Shaw for those group stage matches, that's when you would play her. That's when you'd throw her in for 20 minutes, 10 minutes, 5 minutes at the end of a match in the stoppage time and get her that first experience to become an Olympian that gets a cap.